Hello and welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Some bad news for Sheffield Wednesday this evening has come out from the EFL, the English Football League, and that is that Sheffield Wednesday will be receiving a 12-point deduction for next season. This is due to breaching the league's profitability and sustainability rules for the 3-season period reporting period ending with the season 17-18. So this was during the 15-16, 16-17 and 17-18 seasons. The sporting sanction will take effect from the 2021 season, so that's next season starting in September. The club was charged in November 2019 and referred to an independent disciplinary commission, which conducted a full hearing at the end of June 2020 before finding out the club's guilty based on the fact that the club should not have included profits from the sale of Hillsborough Stadium in the club's financial statements for the period ending 2018 July. The club was found not guilty of a further breach of its duty utmost good faith by the EFL by deliberately concealing information from the league in respect of filings made in respect of the profitability and sustainability rules. So this is not good news for Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, no team wants to be 12 points worse off. And we've seen what damage that has done to Wigan Athletic this season, them ending up in 23rd place. Without that, they would have been about 13th, I think. So really bad news for Sheffield Wednesday. This has been on the cards for a while. If they'd had the 12 points deducted this season, so if it had come into effect this season, they would have finished on 44 points. So they finished bottom. So that is quite concerning for Sheffield Wednesday. They have an owner who has put in a lot of money during his time at Sheffield Wednesday under Carlos Carvajal, and during that time, this is probably when it came out, he spent a lot of money, Chansiri, and it didn't work out. They did not get to the Premier League, which was always the long-term goal. So it might be a little bit more difficult for Gary Monk. I think Gary Monk has done very well at the likes of Birmingham. He did very well in difficult circumstances as well. Well, he did okay. So Steve Bruce left Sheffield Wednesday in July 2019 rather, and Gary Monk took over in September. So he's been in charge for the majority of the season, and they finished, what did I say, about 17th, was it? No, 16th. So they had an okay season. It's not where they want to be. Sheffield Wednesday fans want to be up there with Sheffield United in the Premier League, but this clearly will have a massive impact on them wanting to do that next season. That which won't happen. They'll probably finish in the bottom half just because of this 12 points. It's such a bad start. But we have seen previously teams get out of that. I think the biggest I can remember is Bournemouth and Rotherham were on -17, I think, and both survived. And that was when Luton were on -30, and they obviously got relegated because -30 is just a ridiculous amount of points to make up. You'd have to finish on 80 points. You'd probably have to 80 points. You probably have to have a season where you'd be in the top 3 in League 2 to get out of it. That's how tough it was for Luton. Leeds, I think, ended up in the playoffs when they got fined. I think that was -15 in 07-08, I want to say. So we have seen teams do fine with the points deduction, but we've also seen the opposite. Bolton, for example, this current season have got relegated. They finished bottom. They probably wouldn't have finished bottom if Bury would have completed their fixtures. They'd have probably finished 23rd. They have obviously finished 23rd because Bury were expelled from the EFL. So it is going to be a very tough season to come, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for Sheffield Wednesday. It's not ever a nice situation to have points to offer you. I've never been in this situation myself as a Hereford fan. Obviously, we've had so many things happen that is just not very good, and it was always a problem. It's happened this time to Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday have quite a decent squad, or did last time I checked. They haven't got quite a small squad now, but they have still got some really good players, and they've had some interesting managers. they had Gary Monk and then Steve Bruce before that, who did very, very well in his games. Then they had Lukai, who I thought was I don't know, I just thought he was a bit weird. I don't know what I didn't like about him, but I just found him a little bit, maybe he was quite softly spoken. But yeah, he did really well at a point, and they were like in the playoffs, and then they just totally collapsed, and they were really, really struggling. And then Bruce came in and did what he did, kept them up, and he'd probably gone on to probably be in the playoffs or something like that this season under Bruce, in my opinion. But obviously that didn't happen because he moved to Newcastle. And I forgot about this. Steve Agnew and Stephen Clements were in charge for a month. I totally forgot that because he was going to the cricket or something. That was very, very strange as well. And then before that, they had Carvajal, who did very, very well and always had them usually in a sort of playoff situation. But his last season, that did not happen. So a bit of bad news for Sheffield Wednesday. It could be a hell of a lot worse. They could have been punished a lot worse than 12 points. And they could have punished him this season. Obviously, it's been extremely harsh to do it this season because it would have meant they'd have been relegated, and it didn't happen, during the season. I don't know what they would have done if this was conducted during the season. Well, it was conducted during the season, but we wait to the end of the season. So 12 points deducted for Sheffield Wednesday due to the EFL profitability and sustainability rules. They have broken those rules, which is just really something that I expect to happen a fair amount over the next few years, because it's just such a big carrot, especially now with the coronavirus. It's going to be our dream is to play in the Premier League. We'll have so much more money. We'll be able to have better players, and we'll be able the money and the revenue and everything like that will just skyrocket. And we've seen teams do it, and we've seen teams be successful, and we've seen teams do it and not be successful, and if doing so sometimes comes straight back down, and there's problems like QPR. So it's always a risk when you try and get out of the championship, and it's always a risk when you spend so much money. I've got a wasp flying around me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, of course, if you are new. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.